laughing straight to the bank with this. I'm laughing straight to the bank with this. I'm laughing straight.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Crypto Daily. Now, probably that intro was more humorous to myself as I'm watching Power right now. I still thought it was good, though. What's going on in the markets? Not a whole lot of anything. In fact, just as of recording right now, we have fallen below 8K. Is this a wrong time to film? Most likely. But hey, I'm going to try and edit it as quick as I can. It wasn't my fault. I'm not wearing a hoodie, I know, but it's not my fault. For the last 3 or 4 days or so, the entire market cap of crypto has been on a bit of a slide.
Okay, everybody, come outside. Everybody ready for a wild, wet ride? Slip and slide.
Now, usually, if you were to see a slide like this in general total market capitalization, you would have noticed a greater slip in the price of Bitcoin. However, that hasn't been the case because at the same time the market cap is falling, Bitcoin dominance is growing quite rapidly, an entire % difference in the last 24 hours. It might not sound like a lot, but it is. A percent is a lot of money. 1% of 283 billion. Who knows what that is? Not a mathematician. Now, I thought I'd share this with you, as I thought it was pretty funny. Someone has fixed their Coinbase. Quite creative. Coinbase, according to them, now only sells Bitcoin, Nothing, Ethereum, and Litecoin. Anyway, let's move on to today's topic. We're going to be looking at this post on our cryptocurrency, why I no longer support Bitcoin. It's got a gold star, you know, that's pretty special. I will leave this linked below in case you want to pause the video now and go and read that. I thought it was quite interesting. We are going to discuss it. In case you haven't read it, the TLDW of it is mining sucks, centralization sucks, fees suck, Ethereum's better, Bitcoin sucks. And I think at the crux of it, this is correct to a degree. I don't mean to refute any of these points. That's not what I'm going to be doing. However, I am going to be looking at some of the redeeming qualities of each of these negatives. So to the first then, energy wastefulness sucks. Hard to argue there. Maintaining Bitcoin's network has been estimated to take up to 42 terawatt hours a year, which is more energy than New Zealand uses in an entire year. That's 20 megatons of CO2 emissions, or in more practical terms, that's over 1 million international flights. And more hash power is being added to the network, so that number is rapidly rising. How are you going to see any redeeming qualities there? Not easily. However, it is important to realize that the true value of the blockchain is immutability and in censorship resistance. Otherwise, you might as well be using a centralized server. The Bitcoin network is one of the world's most powerful networks. It doesn't do very much other than find numbers, but still. It's provably been the most attacked network and provably the most secure. The fact is, a third party cannot just buy their way into being able to own enough hash power to turn it off. And that has to be a redeeming quality. But why not just use proof of stake? Not as provably secure. And I'll leave a link to a post detailing why. You can go and research it yourself. But by all means, feel free to use another coin that is proof of stake. Vote with your wallet. This is a free market. I just don't see Bitcoin changing because there are alternatives that have proof of stake that you can use. There doesn't just have to be one coin in existence. So what about fees then? In the original post, he talks about how strange it is that if you wanted to transact with another human being, you could give him 1 gold coin. There isn't some magical person, third party, taking a little bit of that away. This one's actually pretty easy to find the redeeming quality. First of all, the fee should be absolutely minimal, and if it's not, something's going wrong. But secondly, fees were introduced in order to protect the network. Again, what comes back to that censorship-resistant point. You need to have your money secure, otherwise it's not a good place to put your money. Bitcoin has a limited number of transactions per second, so if someone wanted to clog up the network, bring it to a halt, they would just spam the network with transactions so people can't use it. There was a fee introduced to prevent that, make it too costly, make the person pay for doing that. Satoshi described this in the beginning as a very legitimate concern that someone would do this. In an ideal world, we wouldn't have to worry about it, I agree. But you also need to incentivize people to secure your network for you. That's just the world we live in. And finally, let's talk about the last point that I think came up in this post, which was ASIC mining centralization sucks. And that one's hard to argue against. It does. It really does. Now, Andreas Antonopoulos gave a talk about this. I'm not sure which one it is, otherwise I would link it. If anyone knows what I'm talking about, feel free to link it below. But he talked about how Bitmain are the biggest mining network by far on the Bitcoin hash pool ratio, blah, blah, blah. They have the first mover's advantage right now. So many years ago, they put in millions, if not hundreds of millions, if not even more, into research and development for Bitcoin miners. And so they are far ahead of any competition as of right now. However, the interesting thing is the more power you can get out of a ASIC miner depends on the die size. And the die size has been brought so small that now Moore's law comes into effect and there's diminishing returns. They can no longer get massive, massive gains by revamping their models like they used to in the past. So they're effectively slowed down on how much ground they're making. So this gives an opportunity for the rest of the world to catch up. Japan comes to mind. They are putting in millions of dollars into research and development for their own miners. Now, I'm not trying to redeem this negative aspect of Bitcoin, but assumably the situation right now is at the peak. It's at its worst it's ever going to be, and ideally in the future, this problem becomes less. But yeah, I'm not going to stand here and say Bitcoin is a perfect cryptocurrency. It absolutely isn't. But just keep in mind that for every negative aspect around Bitcoin, some people do see positives. I'm not saying it deserves to be the #1, but certainly the case can be made for why it should be, being so censorship resistant, being provably the most attacked network out, and still being around. That's got to have some value for some, right? Let me know what you guys think. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon.